Hey Discord members, welcome to this weekend's analysis video. Today is Saturday night, September 20th. ES and Nasdaq both had great weeks. Remember, we had FOMC Wednesday, which brought a lot of volatility, but overall, new all-time highs on both markets. Let's start with ES on the weekly. You can see now two straight very bullish weekly candles that we have printed here. Daily, we've now established 66.56 as our main daily support here to the downside. And if we go into the hourly, so you can see right here, this huge ugly candle, this was FOMC, okay? And then here as well on Thursday, we had some medium impact news, which brought us this volatility as well. But overall, we had a 0.25 basis points rate cut, which is what everyone expected. This has been our main dealing ranges as far as volume profile. You can see here on the weekly, which is pretty much lined up with the long term, because again, we are at all-time high levels. So these two are pretty much both printing into new areas of value and volumes. Here you can see on Thursday, we started establishing this trend line, which we were able to break out from Friday, backtest, and then continue. So now that we've established a trend line breakout, we can bring out the Fibonacci extensions, and I'm going to make a measure move from the trend line to the lowest point right below it. Should be right there. Let me add prices to this. So here you can see we've tested the 127.20 extension. Next target based off of the Fib extensions will be 67.43 at the 1.61 the 161.80% extension, the golden ratio. And then 67.61 would be the 200% extension. Overall, you can see very bullish close right over here. Let me just remove this now. And so far, we are holding into this low volume node area. But again, this is all-time highs, and there's very little volumes built in here. So downside, we have this node. 67.06 is a significant hourly level. And then below that, 66.88, which would be right around the low volume node area cuts in there. So I do expect some pullback here. You know, we have a strong close inside of this. We're potentially going to turn this to resistance as we backtest the top area of the node. So if we do come down and close below 67.14, then definitely pay attention to the top edge of the nodes that we have right over here. Weekly profiles. So here we have the main node that we've been talking about that we're dealing with. So low volume node support would be right over here, which we're just holding at the moment. And then below that, we have these two main areas of support. Okay, so you can see one of them was the low for Friday. And then the second one was the swing low at 11 o'clock on this pullback right over here. So first areas we can expect support will be first at the top edge of the node. If we do come inside, well, we have the point of control right here, which is always an important area to have as a target. But then below that, this is going to be our biggest cuts here. This level and this level. So this two would be definitely the most significant areas to look for support. This could potentially support, but I've discovered that, when I try to get support on a really shallow pullback, it usually wants to go back deeper, okay? Let me just erase this, but I'm gonna leave this 2 lines. So if we take a Fibonacci retracement, from this rotation, from this low up to this high. So you can see, if we would try to long a pullback here, it's not even into the 38%. So this is a pretty shallow, so I would not expect this area really to hold at first. For me, definitely right here, this one around 75% should be a pretty significant level, and then this one as well, focusing on these 2 major cuts in the profile. TPO, so we pretty much cleaned up the poor highs we had from the previous all-time high right there. No other significant levels there. Tick chart. Friday night action. Thursday night into Friday, extended hours. You can see we had the open, push down, and then the highs that we made were right around the top edge area of this high volume node. Then we opened up the session, and here you can see right around 11:30 when Europe closed, we had the low of day, which was a nice over-under pattern off of this hourly level as well. We also had this nice trendline breakout here, and you can see cumulative delta turned highly positive as well off of these lows. Overall price and delta were pretty in sync for the most part of the session, as you can see. And when CVD and price are in sync, that's when you get really nice trending moves like the one we got right off of these lows. And we ended up establishing now 2 main distributions here, 2 main high volume node areas. If we look at the 5-minute, you can see we have one here, and this one is a little bit choppier, but overall this would be like the main area right over there. Okay, so first levels that I'm looking at, well, here we have a pretty clear resistance broke out and haven't back tested. So overall 67.14 would be the first area that I would be looking for support at the open, a pull down here, and then continuation. If we do break below this, then we're potentially turning this to resistance, and we're looking at 67.06 first, followed by 6700. Okay, upside, we pretty much just need to keep holding this low volume node support area. We can even potentially come flush down here, then start bouncing and going up again. into this node. And then obviously all-time highs will be the next target, because that will be the top edge we had of the node session there. Nasdaq, very bullish weekly candle, as you can see, closing right near the highs. And on the daily, we're establishing a very important level here, 24,553. 3 times resistance Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday breakout. So we're looking now for a back test here. And you can even see here. So this barely missed. This swing high would be the first target. We almost tested this on the pullback on Friday, but it didn't quite get there. So I'm going to keep this level where, oh, it's right here. It's right underneath, because I have an hourly level there as well. So let me, I'm gonna have to move this. Yes. Right there, lock. And now put this back here. Let's lock this again. Okay, so 4-hour view. This is the swing that we can see here. So we did back tested on the hourly time frames, but on the daily, this level still remains untested. Right over here, we have this big high volume node. Okay, so this was the Wednesday. This was the FOMC candle. If I zoom out, so you can see Monday, we started pushing up and we established this hourly level, 24,335. Then we also had our daily level, and then also 24,242, which was huge support last Friday. We had FOMC, and the low of FOMC was exactly at the low support here from last Friday. Then market came back and we had the breakout. Very nice Thursday, Friday pullback, and then the continuation right at the European Open. This low right here was exactly at the London Open, and then from there we had a very bullish session. So zooming in, we're mainly using this distribution now. Hourly levels 24,807. You can see high of Thursday, resistance Friday, breakout, support Friday. So first immediate target down 24,807. If this level goes, we have a little bit of a low volume node area, but I don't expect this to be a huge support as much as we would get if we start getting down into this bottom edge areas here. These 3 low volume node zones that I have marked would be the area. If we do a fib retracement, assuming that we maintain this all-time high here, you can see 50% would be right around these little cuts here. Then we have 6180, but then 75 would start coming down into this bigger bottom edge areas we have here on the profile. Overall, I think this is the pivot level that bulls want to hold. This held during FOMC. It held during the pullback on Friday. So now this is where I would say bulls really want to defend this area. And again, going out to the daily, you can see we have this spike up, previous all-time high broken, and we haven't quite back tested it. So this is the area I would really want to see defended. Below that, then we obviously have the big daily level as well, which would be right at the low right here, pretty much coming into this next high volume node. Weekly profile. So two major distributions, again, one right here, second right here. So our main areas of resistance, well, first area of support, which we're just holding now, would be this one. But like I said, normally when we have an area that is so close to price, I will expect a little bit of a deeper pullback. Okay? But coming back, if we have a strong close through here, then I would expect some kind of back test and rejection to move, first point of control, which is right around there. And then beyond that, let me erase this. Beyond that, we would have first, one cut, two cut, and then this will be the major one, which is the actual bottom edge of the node. Okay, so those would be the main areas we're looking for here. TPO. So we do still have this single prints here, which will be right at that daily level that I talked about if we do get down there. But overall, nothing else here close to price. Tick chart. Overall here you can see the extended trading hours session. We had a big trend line establishing from Thursday's RTH. And then finally we got the breakout here on the overnight session right around the 7:40 a.m. time frame. And then we got the big breakout. Here at the open, if I bring in, let me adjust the cumulative delta here. So you can see initially on this push up, we found resistance right at the previous all-time high level, which we had right there. And then we started the channeling and the pushing down. And then another very nice trendline breakout and the continuation right around the European close. So again, remember that I said, it's worth it to pay attention around 11:30 Eastern every day, which is when the main European markets close, because a lot of times that time of day is going to bring in a potential change in trend. And here you can see very nice this initial area of resistance at the open. We started holding very strongly as support once we got back above it. And then you can see we stayed well above VWAP for the rest of the session. And we've now established a few high volume node areas. If I zoom in here, so we have this one, and you can see very clear delta absorption selling right at these levels. Okay, so this is the first area we're looking to hold at the open. If we do push down, then we have the naked point of control, the hourly level, 24,807, and then the next low volume node area. And this is what I was talking about regarding, looking for a deeper pullback. This zone, we're just testing it and ended up here. So I would expect we do get some kind of deeper pullback where we will be looking, first at this areas where we have the hourly here, then these areas, but maybe even further down into the more bottom cut areas of the weekly profile that we have over here. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you're having a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.